So I'm waiting for others to join. Hi, Vignesh. Hope you can hear me. Hi, Venkatesh. So you guys have heard about Sudha Murthy, right? So any specific expectation about Sudha Murthy? We'll be talking about Sudha Murthy's work today as a part of the book club. Okay. So Venkatesh, which is the Kannada book? Is it Dollar Bahu or something? Yeah, she's written books in Kannada as well as English. Mahashweta, okay. That's a very interesting book. I think where that girl gets the leukoderma, some health issues, and she goes to Bombay and rebuilds her life. Mahashweta. That's a beautiful book, basically. Yeah. Okay, so that's fine. So yeah, so let me start with Sudha Murthy. So what she's one of my role models. So I look up to her, and because I'm an author as well, so I like the way she writes her books as well, and her quotes are also very meaningful and they're very simple. So her simplicity and the social work she does, philanthropical work which she does, is what attracts me to her. And yeah, and she's a very down to earth person, Sadhna. That's right. Yeah, so Sadhna, yeah, her stories are all over. So not only her books are famous. No, I have not met Sudha Murthy yet. That's again a dream for me to meet her. She's also based out of Bangalore, and I'm also based out of Bangalore. Hopefully, one day I'll meet her. So she's an educator, she's a social worker, and probably she's contributed a lot into literature as well. And she's also been awarded like R.K. Narayan award of R.K. Narayan, and also the Padma Shri in 2006. And also she's got an award in Kannada literature as well. So that's I mean, and she's known for her simplicity. Wherever she go, even if you see her interviews as well, she speaks with simple language and simplicity, and that is reflected in the way she dresses up. She talks about her philosophies. I think she's coming from a place where she gives importance to a lot of values which she learned from her family and all, from ancestors, her great grandparents and all. So that's what comes across in her books as well. She's written almost around 21 books. Her more than 21, around 21 books, I think. And she's written not only about travel logs, she's written about mythology, storybooks for children as well. And also there are technical books available and also novels and non-fictional bit. But what I like about her is the way she writes it, so that anybody of any age, from any sphere of life, picks up a book, they can read it, and they will be able to understand it, and they will be able to relate to it, because what she looks at is the extraordinary in the ordinary lives, basically. So that's how her stories are all like. So we also, when we live a life, we see a lot of stories around us and a lot of people living around us. So we can learn from them, and there are a lot of life lessons which can learn from other people around us. That's what she's tried to put in her books as well. Whatever she's experienced in her life, whether it's through travel, whether through her social work, that's what she's tried to put in her books as well. So anything specific you want to know about Sudha, so I can talk about her, or otherwise I'll get into what kind of book she's written, basically. Okay, so I'll get into the books which she's written. So one of my favorite is Vice. Yeah. So I'll talk about her one of my favorite books, which is Wise and Otherwise. And so I love traveling. So and I'm a traveler as well as trekker. So I love to connect with people when I travel as well. So I know a lot of stories are there. Simple people living in mountains and the areas which are not much more commercialized. Or yeah, that story about her airport one is it's true. So I'll talk about the story in little while. So what she's written is about. Then this book is about the ordinary people and the extraordinary minds which these people have, and how it has impacted her. And how it has created a profound impression in her life. What she's derived as lessons in her life. That's what this entire book is about, wise and otherwise. So basically, a travel log, you can say. And there is a very interesting book which is called Dollar Bahu. So Dollar Bahu was written in Kannada, then it got translated in English, and there is a in ZTV. I mean, there is a series which came for this. So it is about two daughter-in-laws. One is a Dollar Bahu, and the other one is a simple one. So how the mother-in-law gives favor to the one who has dollars, and she ignores the one who is very simpleton and very, I mean, who's very simple in life and who's devoted, who's showing selfless love. So that's about a dollar goes. Very interesting book where they've shown characters of two women coming from different backgrounds and how the mother-in-law treats both of them. So yeah, before I come back to the other books, it's about an incident in airport where Sudha Murthy was in a very simple attire. She was traveling, and somebody thought she's so somebody did not recognize her as a Sudha Murthy, and she thought she's from a cattle class, and had not given her the due respect when she was when standing in the queue. And when they went for the conference where the presentation had to be done, Sudha was the speaker there. So I mean, so you can't judge people by the attire they wear. So even if they're simple attire, if they wear, still they may be of, I mean, maybe dignitaries or maybe at a higher level of authorities, but shouldn't judge them. So that story is very famous for Sudha Murthy, and she quotes it everywhere that it's not people who wear simple attire, not cattle class. People, you should not judge people by what they're wearing, basically. Yeah. So there is also something called there's a book what she's written about the day I stopped drinking milk. It's about Odisha tribal. It's a tribal story. It's about her travel to Odisha and all. So because she does those social work, she's got an opportunity to visit a lot of places and lot of people. So it is one of the book which is talks about that as well. And Mahashweta, which I think Venkatesh was talking about. Mahashweta is about a story of Anupama. So what happens is she gets married to a guy, and what happens? She gets leukoderma, and that's the skin disease which is there, and her husband leaves her. What she does is because she's been left by her husband, she goes to Bombay. She stays there. She rebuilds her life, and she gets those due respect and success where, and the children from where she used to be teaching there, she gets lot of immense respect there. And then her husband realizes the mistake he does by leaving her. So that's a very interesting book which was written. That's why the name is called Mahashweta, because it's a skin disease which has that white thing in the skin, basically. So it's very beautifully written, and it's like you should not discriminate people. I mean, whether it's on the basis of the disease. That's what of the lesson. So it's very simple books and simple lessons are there on this. And one of Yeah, that's right. It's very relatable. And also, when I was writing my book, I have written a book called Achan's Flamingo. When I was writing that book, the main thing which I was looking at, the way she's writing the book, it is making sure that when I'm reaching to the audience, I'm able to give the same kind of stories or the lessons or what I have gone through in life, the way she's doing it. Because that's what I mean. She's been a great influence on my work as well. Yeah, Venkat is very right. She is nothing too fancy. Yeah, we're not at all fancy at all. And there is something. There's another very interesting book she's written about a magic of lost temple. So yeah, and yeah, children books are very good. This is again about a. It's about a story about a noni, and in this book, what happens is she's gone to her granny's place for summer vacation, and where she finds a well, which wherein they find the magic of the lost temple. So very interestingly put across, and it's like very. A lot of surprises in it, a lot of witty comments on it, and very simply put. So it brings the curiosity when the child reads it, basically. So it's very nicely written. And there is also another very interesting book is about what do you call? the man from the egg. It's an unusual tales about Trinity. So it's like a mythological book. She's written about Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva. There is something called Revenge as well. It is about Mahabharata. So there are a lot of different books she's written, and there is a children book called The Bird with Golden Wings. Basically, so it's about a lot of illustrations are there, and even children love reading that book as well. So there's a lot of magic. It's written with wit and magic, that book basically. So yeah. So if you know your kids, if there are kids in the family, please introduce these children books to them, because it's very nicely written, and in a very so it has an impact on the kid also, and it creates a curiosity basically for them. Oh, it's nice to know, Vignesh, that you work in a non-profit and read those to the children I work with. Oh, that's great. Great to know that. Yes, absolutely. So the children having relatability really helps. Yes, of course, definitely yes. So even I work. I do this life skill workshop with kids and all. So probably yes, I also take out stories from her books and share it with my cousins, nieces, nephews, and also for these workshops as well. Yeah, so there is another story about the daughter from a wishing. I think it's a daughter from a wishing tree. So it's again a mythology. It's about role of women in mythology. So there are around 24 short stories about women and how in mythology their role was there. So it includes Draupadi and all of the other characters as well. Very well written book. So yeah, one of my favorites too. This one. And so yeah, Venkatesh, I have encountered with other authors as well. So probably I can know the person who's edited my book. Her name is Nadira Cotticollan. Her book's name is Winnowing Waves. She's also a very simple person, and she's also written this book and about Malabar and how the women in the Muslim community in Malabar grew up in Kerala and all, and how the stories of three women collides and how they meet and all. So she's also very interesting person. She's written a book in a very simple language. It's got translated to Malayalam. There is another person, so Learning 2.0, which is written by Manoj Sonawane, one of my favorite author as well, who simplified the concept of learning for children basically. So he's explained concept of NLP. He's explained what how you can make learning simple for people basically. The art of story writing, art of speaking out. By creating examples from your own life. So that's a very interesting book. And there is a 5 minute habit which is written by HemSingh Patle. Yeah. So I will write the name of the book as well. So this 5 minute habit is also a very interesting book. And there's somebody called Amrut Deshmukh. He's known as a booklet guy based out of Bombay. He's on a mission to make India read, and he's also written a book, How to Cultivate the Habit of Reading. And he tells that it is not about yeah. What is it? If you can read Kannada, I definitely recommend Vasundhara. Oh, okay. I don't know Kannada because I'm a Malayali, but born and brought up in Delhi. So yeah, probably I want to learn Kannada because I work with kids for life skill workshop and all. So at least I need to know how to speak Kannada. So probably yeah, I'll try my hand at learning Kannada as well. So yeah, these are the few people I can tell you. They are very simply put. They write simple books in simple language. And there is somebody called Shivya Nath. She's also a person who writes on travel and all, and she does non-commercial travel and all. So her book is also good. So these are people whom I know personally. There are other authors. So Louis A's book is nice, good and all. Okay, yeah, Venkatesh. Sorry, I don't. I mean, I just moved to Bangalore a month back, so I don't know Kannada much. Though I have stayed in Bangalore earlier, a few years back, basically. So yeah, so Venkatesh, to answer your question, these are the few books. These are the authors whom I know personally, and their work is very simple. There are other people who've written great books, like Elizabeth Gilbert has written Eat, Pray, Love. Last week we had done Brené Brown's series. That is also she's also a very good author. There is what you call Robin Sharma's books are really good. So there are so many. Carol Dweck on growth mindset is also a nice book. So yeah, so there are so many books which I can recommend. My list will. This is a big list. So yeah, coming back to Sudha Murthy's book, there is another. three book series, which is known as Gopi Diaries. Basically, it's about a dog. So if you're a dog lover, and it's basically for children, basically, and it's a beautiful book, and it has three series, and it's about how a dog looks at the world around the around him. So it's beautifully written. So it's the perspective of life from a dog's angle, you can say. So yeah, and there is another very interesting book what Sudha Murthy has written is about how the onion got its layers. So, for example, it answers very different questions about onion. Like when you peel the onion, you cry. So those are the questions being answered there in a very simple and what you call in a witty manner, and it's very nice to read that basically. And the last book I will talk about is your. There is also one another book which is about Krishna and Rama. I think it's Upside Down or some Upside Down story. I don't remember the name of that book, but it is about Rama and Krishna. So it's like a 24 stories or 24 stories are there. Half is written about lineage of Rama and half is about the lineage of Krishna. That's also mythology based. So I've not read much of mythology of Sudha, but I've read about some other, and also I read about what the articles she writes or the quotes and all. There is another interesting book which is called How the Sea Became Salty. So, according to her, what sea should be is it should be sweet and the water from the sea should be drinkable. But how did it become salty? That's a story all about in that book as well. So, yeah, it's okay. So, yeah, Sadhana, we can do that. So, before coming to that, do you know, I will recommend you guys to read her quotes as well. Her quotes are very beautifully written. So, I mean, I think I'll read out few of the quotes which I have noted, and it's there on my bulletin board as well. So, what she talks about is first thing is we talk about accomplishment, achieving things in life, and growing in life. So, according to her, is having a good relationships in life, having compassion and peace of mind is much more important than any of your achievements, whatever awards you have, whatever degrees you have, or your money you have. So that's what she says, and it's actually true. So whatever materialistic possessions we have, if we do not have a peace of mind, everything is gone. And another interesting quote which I always remember is when someone gets cheated. For example, you are getting cheated. So if the person it's not he's the person is upset not because they have lost the money or they've got cheated, but what they are actually upset about is they have been foolish enough to be tricked by someone, so that कि किसी ने हमें बेवकूफ बना दिया. That is what upsets the person rather than the loss what has happened. So that's a very interesting, because we normally focus on what we lost, but the feeling of being tricked by someone is that was lingers on our mind basically. And also and in today's world for example we are basically a digital, we live in a digital world. So most of our time goes on our phone, our interaction through phone or WhatsApp or chats and everything. We do not spend most of our time with people anymore, or we do it in a virtual world when it was COVID or something. So I had written this on my bulletin board again, that there is a difference between loneliness and solitude. So loneliness is boring, and while solitude you can impact and examine your deeds and thoughts. So it's a very interesting one. So you can actually imagine, you can look at your own self, you can give your company to your own self, look at yourself as a from a different from a person as a spectator or as an audience of your own life, and enjoy your own company basically, which is very important. And once you start enjoying your solitude, I think that's very powerful. So for example, if you can go and watch a movie on your own, if you can sit at home and read and watch a movie or something like that, and be happy with what you're doing at home by cooking and all, cooking or doing whatever passionate stuff you want to do in life, and you get time to do that and you do it on your own, and you're not dependent upon others, that it gives you immense power basically, and you get to know more about yourself, and you will not tolerate injustice being done to you. So you will be more the self-respect for yourself goes up. And another thing she says is we talk about people who are 10th grade or not done schooling, but they've achieved something in life. There are so many people you can look at that they've achieved. So what she says is education is very important, but it is important to believe in yourself even if your grades are low. So sometimes we think that when kids do not perform in school, that the pressure is there on the by the parent that they're not performing well. So ideally, what should they do? So it's the belief that should be cultivated in a kid that they'll be able to achieve anything in life. So that's why when I do life skill workshop also, I make this as a point that believe in yourself that you can make things right, you can achieve something in life as well, which is very, very important. And another people who are sensitive. So there's another interesting quote she's written about is sensitive people. And people, she says, usually sensitive people take time to understand the world, real world, because they're very sensitive. They will not get what politics or what manipulation what is happening around them. They will take the time. They're very sensitive to all of this thing. So because they will take their own sweet time, and by the time they realize it, it's late. So that's what she keeps saying. And another thing which she talks about is whether you're rich or good, it is good to do your own work and be fit, which is very, very true. Whether you're rich, whether you're poor, you should do your own work. You should not be dependent on anybody. You should be independent and also be fit. Health is important. So probably these are the few quotes which I normally keep it in my bulletin board, which is I have a board at home. So where I keep these quotes and I just change it whenever of different authors or something which motivates me, so that it helps me look at my life very differently. So any questions you have again for Sudha Murthy? And you were, Sadhana, you were talking about to read some passages. So this book, if you can see, The Mother I Never Knew. So this is about, this book I'm not talked about earlier, but if you can see this, this is a very interesting book. It's about two people, two boys basically. So one gets to know that his father had a past, and he searches for his own, for his mother, and the other one was a other guy gets to know that he was adopted, so he goes and search for his own mother. So very interesting book this is, and The Mother I Never Knew, about two people going in search of their mother. And another one is very interesting one is Sudha Murthy's Something Happened on the Way to Heaven. So it is a collection of short stories. Basically, it's about kindness. It's about faith. That's the simple stories which are written here. And she's used what you call it. Yeah, she's shown the joy of life in smaller things. So, like in our day-to-day grind, we should look at enjoy our life, and you will find joy in small things. So that's what this books talks about. So these are the two books which are there in my collection right now, whatever books I have in Bangalore. Otherwise, I have a big collection of books in Kochi, which is my native place. So yeah. So anything else you want to discuss about Sudha Murthy, or you want me to read something out of a book? I can do that. Whatever you suggest, or you have questions, I can answer those questions as well. So, but I will suggest you to read her, watch her videos as well in YouTube and all. They're very interesting, and look at the way she talks in an interview as well. So I mean, it will inspire you, and you will feel very humbled, and you will also want to live your life in a very simple manner, basically, and you will start appreciating what are the things happening around you. So, is there anything? Yeah. So this is yes, Sana. Yeah, I definitely do check out her work. Yeah. And I think she stays in Bangalore itself. I also want to meet her. So when I was growing up, so Narayan Murthy and Sudha Murthy, the picture of them was always there on my desk when I was studying and all. And I wanted to come to Bangalore because I always used to think Bangalore is my dreams will get fulfilled in Bangalore. That was the belief I had, and probably yes, it definitely came true. And I call this as my dream city. And I also call it as my Kapi city as well, because I used Kapi Poha as in one of my chat sessions which I used to do in Insta as Kapi Poha, and Kapi represents Bangalore, which is a dream city. And I came here with 300 rupees and 500 rupees with a small bag, and I just qualified as my CA and grew in my career, and whatever I achieved in life is basically in Bangalore city. And that's why I just love the city. The weather is good. And yeah, so my inspiration are Murthis. That's what I keep telling people. Definitely, Vignesh. Bangalore is a beautiful weather, and has a beautiful weather. It's a beautiful place as well. I think I found people also very humble here, and they just welcome you home. Basically, that's what I have experienced so far. So wherever I've stayed on a rented accommodation 2 years back, or now also, people have been very warm. They have given me warm welcome also everywhere, and That's the beauty of Bangalore as well, and even I think it's one of the safe city as well. I've never not noticed any issues so far here. So I think I'm going to end the session now because I just wanted to talk about Sudha Murthy's work for 25-30 minutes, and I've done that. And also I'll be summarizing it and putting it across in the LinkedIn and my social media accounts as well, so that people get to know what we spoke about here. And thank you, Venkatesh. So Venkatesh, then you wanted to know the name of which book, which author, all the authors, or it's one person. So, so putting the name of Learning 2.0, which is by Manoj Sonawane, which is a very interesting book. If you're dealing with kids and all, it will be useful. Yeah. Yeah, so I've mentioned Manoj's book. So he's a librarian in a Mumbai school, and his journeys have also been interesting. He's coming from a Marathi background, and he's written a book in English, and it was among the bestseller also. So yeah, and very nice person, very humble person, and and he also uses a lot of quotes in his book. So this is the name, Learning 2.0 by Manoj Sunavane. So thanks everyone for being part of the book club series, and hope you enjoyed this session. And do go back and check out Sudha Murthy's work and spread the beauty of a simple language being used everywhere. And even for kids also, it's really good. So you want to teach kids around you basically the values and beliefs system from where we from our culture and all. That is, then you should read their work basically. Sudha's work. Good night. Good night, everyone.